who's a Ritchey customer today? Hopefully he rides a bike, and hopefully he just likes to ride just like me. And I think for the most part, it's the person that has a desire to not for fashion, but for the experience, the real, adventure spirit, the rider that is looking to make his way out into the unknown and come back in one piece. Let's see, probably which of the products is the one that I'm most proud of would personally the Breakaway, because it represents one bike that you can do many things with, and you can just not worry about what bike am I going to ride today, or what are my choices or whatever. One of my ways of riding is that I don't take a phone. So I take a bike that's equipped, that I have to have confidence enough in that I'm not going to have a bailout if I need to. So I don't take a phone for a lot of reasons, but I think that inherently I don't take a phone because where I go I don't have service. Forget that. And secondly, if I do have service, I don't want to have to rely upon somebody to fix my ride. It's a little bit on the it's a little bit, you take a phone and you take maybe in the same way you take a motor, you take all these things and they ride with you, you take a GPS, you don't figure out the route, you're not aware, you're not situationally aware, you're not worried about how much energy you have because the motor helps you, and you have a phone that fixes everything. It's like having a satellite telephone. It's like it's almost it's like, okay, when's it going to get to the point where a phone works everywhere? Well, people are going to have satellite phones, and they're going to have these complicated bikes that we're going to be using our sat phones to get us out of problems. Not as much as I used to. Kind of follow mountain bike racing, but not. Not a collector. I just, when you build bikes for nearly 50 years, you tend to collect. Part of the museum story, but I really live on the tandem, and for Martha and I, my personal road bike, which is my carbon breakaway, and one mountain bike. So basically, 3 bikes that I really use, and then a lot of other bikes that are just test bikes. Definitely has changed. Thomas goes. There's a lot of similarities, even though technology-wise and bike manufacturer-wise, there's a gap between us. There's a lot of understanding that we share, Thomas philosophy-wise, and making sure that his riders are riding the best equipment, have the best mechanics, are very, very well taken care of, so they basically can think about just racing. That was my job, and now that's Thomas's job. When we were first starting out with Thomas, I just, I had a very small budget, and I needed to make sure that I didn't have problems. And because I was a rider and I was paying for it, It was really, really, really connected. And I think, Thomas, of course, is now many years, into the future, but I think his same philosophy is very similar. Just, the worst thing would be to take a totally corporate mindset, but I think his number one job is making sure his athletes are the best prepared, have the best mechanic, have the best support, have the best product. I think we are. Even last Olympics, you could have a road racer jump in and try to be a part of the mountain bike sport at the Olympics. I don't think that would happen right now. You look at the Worlds this year, you look at the difficulty, you look at the jumps that they're doing and the air that they're catching and the technical skills and all that. I think you have to focus one or the other. I don't know. I'm sure there's a special person like Sagan and stuff out there, but still, I think it's a hard stretch right now. In the past, you could flip back and forth, but I don't see that now. Innovation in the bike industry? Yes. There always is, There's always a problem with connecting the dots with innovation. It used to be it wasn't that hard to connect the dots, but right now things pop up, and it takes a while for them to figure themselves out before they go away. Mm-hmm. So there's all kinds of those things. I would say the thing that pops up that is one of the most frustrating is we had in the beginning, we had suspension forks, and then we had, this is going way back, so in the beginning we had suspension forks, and then we had suspension forks with disc brakes. In the beginning, suspension forks had standard brakes, and then they had V-brakes, and then they had disc brakes. And then the idea was, oh wow, this is more like a motorcycle. Now we need a through axle. Okay, made sense. Thinking process, building, an evolution of design, make it light, through axle. And then someone had the brainy idea, a long time ago, that if through axle is good for the front, it's good for the back. It's good for the rear hub. It's not. It doesn't have any value in the rear hub. Matter of fact, it takes the performance down in terms of the strength of the rear hub. People don't understand this. So there's a long-lasting problem in terms of certain innovations and how they make it through and end up actually causing problems. So right now, it's a great example. Right now, we have problems with the e-bike. But the problem is we're stuck on the through hub. And the through hub is a weaker system for the e-bike. And who knows where that's going to figure itself out. It's like if you went back to quick release for the e-bike, you would have a stronger rear hub. All these companies are breaking chains. All these companies are having problems with mechanisms that don't work when you add the e-bike. And so now the market is maybe discovering, hopefully, that the quick release was the best solution for the standard quick release was the best solution for the rear hub. Because you have smaller, you have a stronger axle, you have the ability to put more structure into the cassette and the mechanism, and then you have a stronger bike for the e-bike. But it takes a while. And so, but the problem is, once everyone converts to through axle, then you have a frame that is completely dedicated to through axle that you can't go back to quick release. So it's like there's all these smart people figuring out how to fix a problem rather than how to make a better bike. And that's the problem that we run into with an industry. So that's my example. I don't hear people talking about that. There's other examples. But the bottom line is the bike has value in its truly proven out sports success. So at the racing level, the bike is proven and proven out. But at the racing level, I mean, this is historically, but at the modern racing level, it's different. It's very different than when I started. When I started, I was my own mechanic. I built my wheel, I fixed my frame, I designed something new and put it on my bike and tried it, stuff like that. Nowadays the rider is far removed from that. And the racer is even farther removed from that. The team it takes care of everything. And the team is now managing things and the sponsorship and all those kind of factors. So unfortunately, the average person doesn't know what he doesn't know. And that's the big problem. And so I hope that in the handshake that I have with the average customer, that they know that I'm looking out for them and I'm trying to give them something that works and isn't running off in the direction of fads. I started 47 years ago making a business, and I've stayed a cyclist the whole time, and I ride as hard as I can ride and try to stay up on everything that's out there. And there's a lot out there. For sure. Okay. On the road mark. All right.